Show yourself, Isaac! I know you're here!
Ever been to Saskatchewan? If you've played Castlevania Curse of Darkness, you basically already have. Known for its repetitive rooms and simple design, Curse of Darkness's map doesn't have much going on. The game structurally is the exact same linear place with a different background texture. But is it really that flat? Is it so flat that you can beat the entire game without jumping? Thank you to Dragslayer Zero for this idea. Even if, now that I think about it, you may have been joking. Anyway, let's start by stating our curses. In no way can we jump. We can still hit the jump button to do things like dodge roll, but we can't use our ability to jump or double jump. The flying kick Hector can do is also banned, since it's sort of against the point. Glitches are allowed, as per the challenger's request, and of course no cheats. We're also playing in crazy mode, which raises enemies' damage by a lot and their health as well. After watching Hector wait to confront Isaac for the murder of his wife, after Isaac starts leaving, we find ourselves in the abandoned castle. We start off our journey full of confidence, ready for the road ahead. Anyway, I instantly get demolished by the first enemy. After making it farther, I beat a few simple enemies and get through each room basically as normal. There's only a single issue I actually encountered. I was a little afraid on how I'd hit the white dragons scattered around the map, but thankfully one of the combinable items, Foil, has a large overhead reach, which lets you hit them. We quickly reach the first boss, Crazy Armor, which is... ugh. For phase 1, you'll want to dodge roll towards the direction of the weapon he swings. The hitboxes for these attacks last a lot longer than you'd expect. When you get rid of all his blue health bar, he'll start attacking more sporadically, and will launch his head into the ground at you. When that's done, phase 2 is a lot more hectic and requires a whole lot of waiting. Thankfully, he seems to very weakly track you, if at all. He'll start raining fire all over himself. You'll have to wait patiently for him to stop burning up the place, then go in and attack him, avoiding the fireballs he'll shoot at you. After a few attempts, we've beaten the first boss. Now we move into the Belgian mountains. Hector meets Julia, the game's merchant, who reminds him a lot of his recently hunger-staked wife. Well, he moved on fast. Things only get interesting when I reach the barricade with the cannons shooting at me. See, you're supposed to climb into this cannon and shoot down the barricade and the enemies, but I can't get into the cannon in the first place. It requires you to jump. Thankfully, these games are largely afflicted with a disease called bugs, and I thought I could exploit some of them. Take a look at this speedrun by CasJ1357. What you do is hit the fence with the weapon, using the slight boost it gives you to go just a teeny bit higher. Unequip and re-equip the weapon to reset the attack and repeat. The problem is that you have to be in the air for you to get that small boost. I tried getting hit upwards, but you can't attack while in the knockback animation. It was then that I remembered something from Hey Frank Evans' Curse of Darkness video he released about 6 months ago. In Curse of Darkness, by hitting the combo finish button at the right time, Hector will do a flying spin kick. Could I maybe use that? The idea was a little far-fetched, as most moves, including Hector's second quickstep, look like they have Hector leaving the ground, but in reality they don't. So I grabbed my punch rings and gave it a go. To my great surprise, it worked! I was in the air! I could get... oh. Unfortunately, you can't attack after performing this move, but all hope is not lost. Enter Dung. The 2-hit combo for Dung has you launched in the air. In fact, it even lets you attack after. After trying it out, I was able to perform the exploit. It worked! After the initial excitement faded, something occurred to me. The Dung special move is basically just a jump. It was sort of against the entire premise of the challenge. So, despite it being the solution to all my problems, I've decided to add the Dung Spear special to the ban list. Besides, I'd have to use the double jump to get over the wall anyway. I started mashing all over the place, using the one thing that could get me off the ground. Then, Hector grabbed onto the ledge? I didn't even know that this was a thing. I guess it was carried over from Lament of Innocence. I almost got stuck in a fountain, and got killed by a bird. Other stuff happens, and I make it to the next boss. I do really well at first. Yes, I tried to get on his back, but with my affliction, I can't. And then he decides to do 3/4 of my health bar. On my way back, I meet a Golden Bones, which is great. But damn, do they have a lot of health. Took me 17 minutes to kill him. Anyway, here's how the Wyvern works. The hitbox for his head is a lot larger than it seems, so you don't have to jump to hit him. The general rule of thumb for this entire fight is that when you hear him groan, start backstepping. When he completes the move, quick step back towards him and start grinding down his health bar. Phase 2 requires a lot of patience and a little bit of risk taking. Wyvern can fly around and shoot fire down at you. Just move perpendicularly to a stream of fire to avoid it. This isn't too difficult. When he lands, he'll create a powerful shockwave, so be careful of that. Be careful of attacking him when he just lands, as if he reclines his head, he'll start snapping at you. We beat him and move on into the Garibaldi Temple. While we're there, we meet the most pointless and hypocritical character in the franchise. Why is he here? To observe and not act on the knowledge he has. How is he going to do it? By doing the exact opposite and tries to kill you later down the road. Why is he doing it? No one knows crud. I present to you, Saint Germain. No one cares about Saint Germain. Not even the Castlevania team. As in 2008's Castlevania Judgment, there's a character named Eon, who is basically the exact same thing as Saint Germain. Instead of using their fully applicable character, they made a new one. The funny thing is that Judgment uses a lot of Curse of Darkness' assets already. In fact, according to Igarashi's Reddit AMA, they're a part of the same group. They actively chose to use extra time and money to forget this character.
I'm extremely famous and they wanted to meet someone who'd seen toilet paper.
What the f is toilet paper?
Anyway, he moves on and we enter the game's low point, inside the temple itself. I refuse to search deeply in this area and blast my way through. I'm not strong enough to make it to the second floor over here, so I just go onwards. As I move forwards, I reach the most garbage room in Castlevania existence. Not only do you have to kill all the enemies in this room to open the exit door, we're stuck with 3 healing wizards and 3 lesser demons. Not only can I not hit the lesser demons unless they use their scratch move, which is rare, if I do hit one, the other 2 will undoubtedly hit me. The sheer amount of times I had to enter this room was nuts. Luckily, I managed to get a rosary drop from a wizard. I almost die on my way back to the save, but I make it through, thankfully. And then I reach Pain, and then get to the next boss fight.
Wait! Where could he be? Answer me! Are you the Devil Forge Master? I am. Then this is the hour of your death.
Trevor is a pretty simple boss fight. Basically, quick step at a medium distance away from Trevor at all times. Guard when he lightning kicks. Just make sure to quick step after he hits your guard. Repeat until he kicks downwards. Then show him your retribution. Dodge his Incinerate by quick-stepping twice in the same direction. This flame attack, while slow, is unguardable, so don't. He'll sometimes use holy water all around him, which is why you don't want to stay too close. After getting Trevor to 1/6 of his health bar, the fight will end, and he'll make fun of you.
Are you truly the Devil Forge Master? Are you not Trevor Belmont, the one who defeated Lord Dracula? I shall remember that name.
We get the ability to open heavy doors. It's of note that innocent devils get various abilities, which are usable by using hearts. Hearts can be replenished through candles or by perfect guarding. A guard that requires guarding exactly when an enemy hits you. I realize that I won't have access to any of these treasure items, as of now at least. So I continue through the game. We enter the much more pleasing Mortvia Aqueduct. Well, it used to be. See, the Mortvia Aqueduct has small ducts of water, which are probably flowing with all kinds of excrements. The issue is, at the end, I need to make a precise spin jump to make it back up. It basically just leaves me completely vulnerable. What makes it worse is that here, I reach my next stopping point. Here's a room where you have to jump into a cannon, and shoot down this tower that's leaning for some reason. I can't make it up to the cannon, no matter what I try. The most conceivable option was getting shot across. I know it's possible with a well-timed double jump, but not for me. I refuse to fail this challenge. I started researching glitches for this game. The most interesting one being the infinite height glitch. It works by using a weapon like Belova, and then using the fence strategy from earlier. The problem is that I need to get off the ground to use it, but in Curse of Darkness, you can't fall off ledges like in normal games. There's only one far-fetched option to do that. Aite, the special battle type familiar, has an ability called Carry. To get Aite, you need to get 40 Evo Crystals from a sword or special type of weapon, and then 90 more with only a special weapon. The biggest problem is that special weapons are really hard to come by, there being only 2 options that I can get right now. The baseball bat, which is god-awful, and the spiked shield, which is pretty solid, dude. Well, this seemed hopeless. This journey seems to have led itself to a dark end. Seriously, what could I even do here? It was then that I saw a video on the topic of infinite jump glitches by CastJ1357, the speedrunner from earlier, who still seemed to be posting videos. Well, I was getting desperate, and I couldn't let Drag Slayer 0 down. So I reached out. CastJ seems to actually understand what I'm asking, which, if you know me, is a pretty rare occurrence. I'm told how momentum works. There were still a few problems, as I couldn't really use momentum in the first place since I can't get off the ground. In the few occasions I was able to, I couldn't move forwards for some reason. Doesn't matter how high I get if I can't do anything with it. I decided to disclose my situation, and my plans to use Aite. He then releases an entire video explaining how to do this. Turns out, you have to hold the direction to keep your momentum, which makes a lot of sense. But, could I do all these things?
I did it!
I reach the Skeleton Diver. The Skeleton Diver and I don't really get along. Instead, what I do is use my new moves to reject him entirely. I reach the Forest of Jikramunt and quickly find the next boss. Start the match by dodging the Minotaur's slow-moving column. The first one, and the first one only, will slowly break. When it's broken, the Minotaur will try to get another one. If he doesn't have a column in his hands, he can't attack you, so attack him. When he gets a second column, run away. This will force him to throw his column at you, meaning he loses his weapon and he has to get another one, meaning you can once again attack him. Repeat until he gets to his final column, or if you do enough damage. When this happens, he'll enter a new phase. He's most vulnerable when he finishes his little cyclone spin. You'll want to be risky and get the most out of this, since you don't get many chances to hit him safely. He'll start jumping sporadically when he gets to really low health. Just be patient. He'll use one of his other moves eventually, and you'll get to take him down. Soon after, we fight Isaac 1. This can't be so bad. It'll probably just take a few tries, and I'll get the... No, this fight is nuts.
Good job, Mike.
This is all about waiting and waiting, and then hitting once, and then waiting again. There's so much going on at the same time, I can't concentrate. Then his damage output is 5 times my max health, and I'm screwed. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to struggle at beating a boss fight normally. Who would want more pain in life? Who hates himself that much? Oh, look at that. He hits Isaac, no problem. Oh, look at that. He does 800 damage in a single punch. Apparently, critical hits are a thing. By holding the guard button when you're about to hit with that wind attack specifically, it does huge damage. He calls them critical hits, and I haven't heard anything about them online, so there you go. Each fight has different versions of them, and they can be a lot stronger. Instead of solving all our problems by killing Isaac, Julia tells us to stop, since her brother's stuck in the grip of Dracula's curse. And then Hector's just like, yeah, okay, and apologizes like this man wasn't trying to kill him. Anyway, I get the Rod Familiar, and enter the Machine Tower. Getting through this area is difficult, especially when I'm dealing with level 50 enemies at level 22. Next up, we fight Saint Germain. We're supposed to use the Rod Familiar to stop time and avoid his attack. You can perfect guard it instead, but that's precise, and I don't want to learn that. It's too bad. It's not like I have my own personal slave. Well, hey Frank Evans perfect guards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of Saint Germain's time stop moves. He finishes them off, and we continue on. I use the teleportation station to warp back to Cordova town, using my new innocent devil, the Devil, to get under the tight space and go to the Island Ruins. This seemingly filler area has, to no surprise, nothing going on.
Entirely different person.
I get teleported to the Trevor rematch, which is also uneventful.
Time to die.
Alright, now we reach the Infinite Corridor. After passing some enemy grinding locations, we reach the next area boss. Dullahan is just about as easy as he was in my Portrait of Ruin and Rondo of Blood challenge.
Oh my.
Congrats, you actually became something useful. As shown before, you have to perfect guard his Grand Slam. Then, when you get it, he'll just use the move again. Being the family disappointment, I call the Golden Child / favorite lackey. Hey, Frank Evans has to perfect guard Dullahan 5 times to get him down.
No! It cannot be!
Dracula's castle has emerged. We use the teleportation station again to get back to the Mortvia Aqueduct, entering the thing once called Castlevania. I'm forced to use the jump skip from earlier with Aite's carry ability to get over this gap, since I never got the flying innocent devil you get from the skeleton diver. We nuke the orcs, slowly make my way over, and find the last type of innocent devil for this challenge, Pumpkin. He tends to run into battle, fall asleep, and die. He's also known for randomly breaking into song. He attacks his enemies with his violent mood swings, and appears to be very ADHD. While he's alive, he'll raise all of Hector's stats, so the goal is mostly to stop him from killing himself. We use Aite's carry to get over these steps, and get ready for a world of pain. Isaac 2 is one of my favorite boss fights in the game. Beating him is unconventional and a tad cryptic, having to know when he's open to attack, and when you're more vulnerable than you think you are. He can do loads of damage at a time, so there isn't much room for error. The biggest issue is Black Dragon, the first familiar. See, it's difficult to hit him normally when he's flying. Using Agnia through my Embryo Rod is good at getting him to low enough health that it takes only 1 or 2 special attacks with the Force Glove to take him out. I have to be careful though, since if I mess up the combo, Hector will start breakdancing. When he goes down, I'll have to switch to Pada when I'm fighting Black Yeti, as Force Gloves can't crit, making Pada the best alternative. He's the easiest of the bunch. When Isaac shouts, "Go!" or "Kill," you get a small window to attack Black Yeti. He has low health, so you'll be fine beating him if you're careful. Things
Go to hell.
when Isaac summons Black Rossets. You'll get basically no openings to attack either enemies. The only thing that worked for me was knocking Black Rossets down after he teleports at you and strikes, followed by getting a crit on Isaac. It just sucks that if Rossets is performing a move, You can't knock him down, so if you're already comboing him, but Isaac shouts kill, you'll have to wait another 30 seconds to have another opening. I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't be able to last long enough to actually kill Isaac if it wasn't for the fact that the Heavenly Sword is safe and easy to perfect guard. As if you miss the perfect guard timings, you won't get hit, you'll normal guard instead. You're also going to want to keep Isaac on screen at all times. He has two incredibly dangerous moves that will do almost my entire health bar of damage, as when he summons Black Rossets, he goes berserk. He'll take twice the damage, but he'll also do twice the damage. One is his ranged attack where he shoots light at you, and the other is not only unblockable, but makes your dodge iframes meaningless, as well as granting him another fast attack right afterwards. After an approximately 15-minute fight, I don't get a second to breathe. We've only completed the first half of this boss fight. That's right, after you beat Isaac, you have to fight Death. Death's attacks, while strongly telegraphed, are really difficult to avoid. And dying sucks, as when you die, you have to fight Isaac again. I use everything I have at my disposal. Dodge Death's Scythe, like you did with Crazy Armor's Axe Slash, as once again, the hitbox lasts forever. Of course, always start the fight with Proboscis' Bomb, as it does a percentage of enemies' current health. The Old Man's Bomb also has your back from attacks like Death's Demonic Mechadil lookalike, allowing you to do damage while still running away. When you see the Red Hand of Death, get the hell away. Why take risks? When Death prepares to auto-fire scythes at you, get close. Avoiding them when they come at you from above is much easier than taking them head-on from afar. The flying spinning scythes are hard to avoid no matter how you look at them. They can sometimes cause slowdown too. I mow them down with my Ironside familiar as I feel the pressure in this final struggle. Aite's hit press level 2 does the job when Ironside gets slaughtered. Get that extra attack power from my genius chef, thinking about how I could hit Death without getting Hector's hands dirty. In the end, I do something really stupid, and use my Brow Innocent Devil's Murder Circle to finish off the last chunk of his health while making me invincible. And then, we reach the home stretch of this challenge.
I'm awake. Oh yeah.
I guess they didn't want to have Death as the final boss once again, like in Lament of Innocence. On paper, first form seems really easy, but I feel like the Dracula fight was a little rushed. Lots of his moves cause a lot of slowdown, as shown through Proboscis' just a little. Anyway, I feel like there are a few oversights in this fight, to a much greater extent, compared to what I saw throughout the game. It makes the fight a lot more inconsistent. Look at these hitboxes. Look, maybe it's just me, but that just seems like a bit much. It also does a lot of damage. Anyway, Phase 2 is really hard. It took me 3 days to do the previous boss fight. I'm tired. I have 38 subs. I just don't care. This is good enough. There's nothing impossible coming up ahead. It is, after all, the final boss fight. Well, you know what happens next.
But now feel my unbridled wrath.
Yep, I'm back. Dracula and Curse of Darkness may be one of my favorite fights, but my god is it long. Also, since I hate myself, I decided to attempt this fight without any innocent devils or potions. And in all, the fight takes around 30 minutes. Since the first phase of the fight was deleted somehow, I'll talk about the main problem, Phase 2. Dracula's attacks aren't all that difficult to dodge, but it isn't easy beating a 30-minute fight when I can only be hit twice. This blue laser was a big problem. It does 300 damage if it hits you, and it often traps you inside it, killing you instantly. The biggest problem, however, was this horizontal claw swipe. It may only deal 250 damage, but its hitbox is humongous, and it leaves Blood Art technique in the place he attacked. Also, keep in mind that if I ever accidentally jump instead of dodging, I have to restart no matter how far I am in the fight. But after a few hours, I got this attempt. And finally, after 30 hours of gameplay, the challenge is finally complete.
So, is it possible to beat Castlevania Curse of Darkness without jumping? It is completely possible to beat the game without jumping, or using any of its alternatives. In fact, it's completely possible to beat the game without using the jump button at all. There were many obstacles that got in the way, yet we were always able to find alternatives to overcome them. If you can find the names of all 6 of my innocent devils, I'll give you a shout out in the next video. Not counting the Grimoire of Souls stuff, of course. Shout out again to CastJ1357, and who knows, maybe we'll one day be able to create a jumpless category for the game down at speedrun.com. Shout out, of course, to Hey Frank Evans. Check his channel out if you want to see him perform the most masochistic tasks possible in a Castlevania game. And finally to Dragslayer0, who gave me the idea for this challenge. Anyway, I ask, did you find it? Give me a timestamp if you did, without any other context. First one to do so will also get a shout out in the next video. This challenge was definitely the hardest one yet, but nothing stops the sacrifice from suffering another night.